Some 100,000 Central American migrants have disappeared in Mexico since 2006, according to estimates. But the figures are guesswork and represent only a fraction of the reality, because governments don't even bother to count migrants lost on the dangerous routes northward to the United States. But there is one group for whom they do count: their mothers. For 15 years, the mothers of disappeared migrants from Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Nicaragua have organized a unique caravan that travels thousands of kilometers along migrant routes through Mexico in search of their missing children. From Tapachula to Reynosa and back, they pass through no man's land where drug cartels and corrupt security forces rule. They follow the tracks of La Bestia, the notorious freight train that carries merchandise as commerce and human beings as contraband. In public plazas, they display their children's graduation photos or their last snapshots with the hope that someone will recognize the face staring out from the plastic sign.
My name is Rosa Edith Mata. I come from El Salvador. I'm searching for Lillian Karina Ramos. 2 years ago, I lost her. I need answers. I need help from you people. Come close to look at the photographs that we're going to lay out here. We need your help.
These mothers struggled to raise their children amid poverty and violence in Central American countries with the highest homicide rates in the world. Their sons and daughters left to find a safe place up north, to get a job and send money home for families struggling to survive, but they never made it. The crowning moment of every caravan is when, after years of anguish and uncertainty, a family is finally reunited. In Tequisquiapan, caravan members join hands in a circle in the public square. Santos Cáceres Lines embraces his mother for the first time in 33 years after leaving Honduras. In the northern Mexican state of Nuevo León, Lilian Alvarado meets her children, Delinda and Salvador, who fled for safety during the armed conflict in El Salvador 31 years ago. They were 7 and 9 years old when she last saw them. She hugs her grandchildren for the first time. The Central American Mothers Caravan has reunited 317 families in Mexico in its 15-year history. The 2019 caravan brought together 5 families, some separated for more than 3 decades. The same causes that force men, women, and children to flee their home countries, poverty, organized crime, violence, and government corruption, also imperil thousands of migrants traveling through Mexico to the United States. But there's another reason migrants die or disappear: government policies. The persecution of migrants pushes them into dangerous routes and dangerous company. The lack of a legal framework and effective protection makes them easy prey for delinquents and extortion. Nearly 8,000 migrants have reportedly died crossing the U.S.-Mexico border since 1998. Many bodies remain unfound or unidentified, leaving a mother somewhere searching for her loved one the rest of her life. Reina Portillo's son, Marvin Alvarez Portillo, disappeared crossing the border in Reynosa in 2010. Witnesses reported that the migrants fell into the water when a chopper buzzed the small boat they were crossing in.
He left on July 15, 2010, but disappeared on August 4th. That was the last time I heard from him. He was traveling with my nephew, and my nephew told my sister that he couldn't find Marvin. So then my sister called me. Since then, the worst nightmare has begun until this day. I don't know anything about my son. A helicopter flew down really low, and the force of the wind threw them all down into the water. No one knows if he died because they fell in the water, and when my nephew came out, he asked for him, and they told him not to worry because immigration had caught him. So to this day, I haven't heard from him.
This year, the Caravan tracked down 2 of the disappeared in prisons. Their investigations indicate that Mexican authorities sometimes scapegoat Central American migrants for crimes that they can't or won't solve. Antonio Alonso, a Mayan farmer from Huehuetenango, found his daughter Juana in a prison in the violent border city of Reynosa, Tamaulipas. The young indigenous woman, whose native language is Chuk, was charged with kidnapping without a translator. Despite the lack of evidence against her, she's been in prison for 6 years without trial.
It's a long time without seeing them. I thought I was going to the United States to help them, but how could I know that this would happen to me, this situation? And I don't know if my mother is all right. She has a sickness, and that's why sometimes I just want to help her. But how can I know if this happened? I don't know. And another thing is that I don't know how they are doing with their struggle for money. I don't know. Today in Guatemala, life is difficult. But now, really, I'm so happy to see him.
Despite the risk and the pain and persecution on the Mexican migrant trail, the Central American mothers find strength in organizing, solace in solidarity, and a bittersweet joy in seeing the families brought together, always hoping that the next one will be theirs. Now they've returned to their home countries, but the work of following new tips, organizing more mothers, pressuring government officials, and planning next year's caravan rolls on. This year, celebrating 15 years of active resistance, the Caravan of Central American mothers again defied the logic of a system that devalues migrant lives and asserted the value of a mother's love that transcends all borders.
Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate it. But do us one more solemn favor. Hit the subscribe button below. You know you want to. Stay up on the videos.